Welcome to Deepnight Revelation. We will be picking up where we left off last week. So, a bunch of past couple of sessions. There's been a lot of talkie and diplomacy and negotiations. And what has transpired is that these guys have they've made it to Tradeport, which is a neutral station dedicated to trade, shockingly, and they have negotiated with the trade administrator, or the Tradeport Consortium administrator, Marcus Feisler, to use the mobile ship dock or shipyards to basically overhaul the jump drive in Revelation, since it is on the outs. And so, of course, to do that, a couple of things have to happen. They have to agree to repair the mobile yards, which will take a couple of weeks, and then they can get started. But he's also asked for a couple of other favors, one of them being to go to Wildwood, and then the other one was to go to Grit. And Grit has problems where they haven't received the last two shipments of ore that they mine there, and so he would like the travelers to go and investigate that. And the other one is Wildwood. Wildwood is an agricultural and logging planet. They have a huge industry there, and they haven't stopped shipments, but there have been complaints of some kind of strange creature or beast. They mention directly the wendigo, and the other one is the aranalaska, which is a local legend. And the wendigo is the wendigo from Terran cultures, and they are scared of this thing out in the woods that they claim has been terrorizing. And so these guys had a choice of where to go for the first of these two, and they decided to go to Wildwood, and because they don't, they're guessing that there's some kind of labor dispute going on Grit, so they decided to save that for later. They're going to go investigate Wildwood, and so that is where we'll be picking up. Before we get started, we'd like to point out that we do have a merch store via Zazzle. We've got all sorts of merchandise, T-shirts, and we've got Whiskey Rocks glasses and beer steins, which actually make a better coffee mug, in my opinion. But yeah, we got a bunch of stuff on there, and 100% of the proceeds from that store goes directly back into our channel, helps cover things like Roll20 Pro, Incarnate Pro, and all of those minor little subscriptions that pop up at the beginning of the month that once they get together, they're not all so little and annoying anymore. And so if you want to help us out, make ends meet, go get yourself a T-shirt or a beer stein, and we appreciate everything you do for us. All right, so you guys come out of jump. So Wildwood is only one parsec away, so it only took you only had to do a J1, which means that you've got enough fuel for three more J1s, or a J2 and one J1, or however you want to mix that up. So, you know, because the Deepnight Scout can make two consecutive J1 or J2s, I believe. Let me look at it. Yeah, yeah, J2 times 2. 12 weeks worth of operation with the fuel and a 10% reduction in fuel because it is energy efficient. So, you know, you've got the benefit that you don't even really have to worry too much about refueling. In fact, if you wanted to, theoretically, you could land here at Wildwood, leave here when you're done, and jump directly to Grit without even going back to Tradeport yet. I mean, you could just bang out all of this if you wanted to. But you come into the Wildwood system, and there is a moderate amount of comms traffic, and you do see some smaller freighters, light freighters, that are moving to and fro through the system. And you are contacted by Wildwood Control from a downport located in the city of David's Landing. And they give you clearance to land.
That's Pappy's bit.
Yep, so
Landing
Pappy, you can go ahead and make a piloting Starship plus dexterity check. Very nice, very nice. Almost double what you needed. So, Pappy brings you guys in. And as you are getting closer and closer, I mean, you can see it from a distance, of course, but as you get closer, Wildwood, compared to a lot of the world, I would say probably about 95, at least 95% of the planets that you have visited since leaving charted space, Wildwood is one of the most beautiful. I mean, it is a green ball with small areas of blue. But to tell you, how did I do that? Oh. See, I just got started and I already fucked this up. I will tell you all about Wildwood. As soon as I get the correct book open, because somehow I missed the most important book, and that's a little odd. There we go. So, it says that Wildwood is about 9,600 kilometers in diameter, so it is considerably, quite a bit smaller than Earth. It has a dense atmosphere. Pressure is 1.5 to 2.49. It is recommended. A filter is recommended, but I mean, it's got a dense atmosphere because the trees are pumping out so much oxygen. I mean, this planet is just forested, like almost completely. So it's shirt sleeves environment. Filters are optional. Hydrographics. Large oceans, 56 to 65% water. Population is tens of millions. Or maybe not. No, it is millions. And then the government is starting that thing. Here we go. Balkanized. So they are made up. The planet Wildwood is made up by various cities, and you know, as you're coming in to land, you even note that David's Landing isn't even. It's where their main starport is, but it isn't even the largest city. You can see out as you're flying overhead, you can see a number of other cities that appear to be much larger, and all of these are considered like city-states. They are all their own government. They're not really fighting with each other or competing in any way, because there is such a massive amount of resources on Wildwood that they don't have to compete. And so there is trade that goes on between these city-states, but there's no central ruling government, and really David's Landing is more of it's there more to support the starport than it is for anything else. It's not really a capital in any way. And law level here is 5, and starport, you know, the information that you get in from, they have a Class C starport, information that you get in from the data packets that sent back, basically says, now normally it would be personal concealable weapons are banned. Um, they being a tech level 8 planet, the average tech level of most of the yokels out logging and mining and whatnot is more around tech level 5, and so rifles and shotguns are perfectly okay. In order to open carry a handgun, they would want to issue a permit, a firearms permit. Um, but even the notes that come back with on your communication for landing here the first time, they even state that there's usually no reason to deny somebody a permit. So there's really not a problem. But they will ban military style weapons or assault guns and crap like that.
So no laser pistol?
You can carry a laser pistol.
But not the rifle.
Well, I mean, you could. Portable. Tech level.
Oh,
8.
see what happens when we go to the government. We're telling them we're hunting Bigfoot.
Right.
You know?
You just look like a complete psychotic, is generally speaking.
Usually, yeah.
It's like asking if you can bring an assault rifle to the shopping mall. Yeah,
right.
You can. It's just that everybody's fucking staring at you like, what the hell are you doing?
Right. And at law level 2, portable energy and laser weapons are banned. So I mean, this law level 5, they're gonna probably frown on your pew pew.
Okay, I won't bring the rifle into there. I'll save it for when we go to hunt.
Okay, yeah.
I want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Grab a couple of gauze pistols out of the little locker there.
All right.
Some new as I can get them.
As new as you can get them.
Yeah, I'm planning to offer them up as bribing favor material. This a nice TL-13 pistol to drop off to somebody here would probably go a long way, you know?
So, yeah, I mean, you've got the Install Arms IS-4 Gauss pistol, which is pretty much standard issue across the board.
Beautiful little thing. Yeah, so I'll grab that and a couple of the 40-round magazines for each one, and I'll put them in a little case.
Okay.
You know, kind of what they are. I'm trying to be diplomatic, you know.
Well, I mean, if that's your idea, what you might do if you want to be diplomatic and potentially trade those is roll a d6.
All right. You're gonna make me bring up this thing. Here we go.
So you've got 2 of these in ballistic cases, and each one has 2 mags. And
that's beautiful.
They're 2 full mags in addition to it's 2 full mags, and they're in a ballistic case with the foam and the whole 9 yards. You got 2 of these things. What you should do, and then this is up to you, is shove these or put them on Mel's lap, and say, "Be a broker." Theoretically,
you could do that.
Yeah. There you go, Mel. Take these motherfuckers.
I mean, that's kind of his bailiwick, right?
Right. I mean, I was kind of thinking we were, might use them to grease wheels if we need to. But,
you can.
Either way, here, Mel, I got these. I rolled dice and everything.
So just, I mean, even I mean, if you want to use it for diplomacy, you can too. But I mean, I'm just saying that's probably his.
Right. Yeah. Either way, it might be better off than Mel's thing. I mean, but nonetheless, I mean, hell, you maybe do 1 and 1. One to kind of let the provost or whoever the fuck is the mayor, whatever they have, right around here. One to make him real happy with us, and another one to get us some local currency if they have, or whatever.
So the thought occurred to me today is that then this wasn't brought up. Everybody roll 2d plus your intellect check, and you want to get a 6 or better.
2D plus intellect. The hell's my intellect? Oh, I have a 1.
Got an 8.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, shit. All right.
Mel ain't fucking around. Started got a 2.
And
Happy.
so all of you thought of this. So the thought that occurred to me was that you were in a rush to get away from the mafioso jerkwad in Little Enveus and get on with this, right? And so you guys all got up into the ship, and it was towards the end of the game session, and you jumped, and nobody thought about a ground vehicle. So, I guess I put the...
I don't think any of us can drive ground vehicle.
Does anybody have the drive skill?
I don't believe so.
If not, it's not a huge thing. I mean, you could use fly or grav too, but what I was going to bring up is that as you are coming in, fly or grav is going to be next to useless because this entire planet is so thick in forest that you're not going to be... You can fly over the tops of the trees, and you can't see shit on the ground because the canopy of the trees are so enveloped. So fly or grav is another one of those situations where it may not... That's not going to be your best. But you're also... The terrain that you can see is also pretty rugged. You can see, as you're flying overhead, that there are rail lines that come off of the starport at David's Landing that make their way out to the various cities. And there's usually a very small amount of roadway on either side of those rail lines. And as you're flying overhead, you can see that there are vehicles where they've got, basically utility vehicles with the big... like sometimes you see these when they're trimming tree lines down along the highway. They just have this big swing arm on the side that's a big gigantic chainsaw that they just swing by and cut the limbs off. That's kind of what they're doing. And you get the impression that this has to be done, probably at least once a month because the forest encroaches on those rail lines so quickly. So, I mean, a ground vehicle is going to be your best bet, but you're not going to be able to baja through the forest very much.
We need to hire... If we don't have a driver, we need to hire one. And if we're going to hire one, maybe we can hire a driver with it if we don't have a driver.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's not a big deal. I was going to say, bring that back.
It can't be that hard from flying.
I mean, technically, we still have what's his name's character.
It's true. Yes.
And
ground vehicle. I can't remember what the hell it was he drove.
So I mean, yeah,
it was the gecko.
A Ranger only takes up 8 tons of shipping space. I mean, technically, you only have to make a drive wheel check. When it, when you're trying to do something ridiculous or you're trying to do something exceptionally difficult. So this might be one of those times, of course, where something exceptionally difficult might creep up, but you see plenty of rail lines, so I mean, getting to where you're wanting to go is probably not a huge issue. But you kind of notice all of this, and you set down. Pappy sets you down on the designated landing pad on this in this starport of David's Landing, and looking around. Your first thought is, and even Pappy as he's landing, I mean, this is where the beacon is, and you're looking at your sensors, and Pappy's like, yeah, that's where it says to park. You're looking around, and this doesn't look so much like a classy starport that you would expect. Instead, what you see is basically looks like you're landing in a freight yard. Like if you've ever been down to the freight yard of a railroad or of a railroad company, that's what that looks like. I mean, there's like containers all over the place. There are cranes that are, guys playing Tetris with the containers to make stuff fit. And you do see like a lot of this as they're loading some of these shipping containers. They're loading them with logs. Just they shear off the tree limbs and load them with logs. And other containers, you're seeing that they're loading them with already cut lumber. Another container is full of various vegetation. You're guessing whatever vegetable matter grows on this planet. That seems to be what they're offloading. So Pappy sets you down. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, well, we should go talk to these loggers and see if they know where the Wendigo is.
That's not a terrible idea.
That makes sense.
Everyone's getting haunted and hunted by it,
Okay. So round the table here, Bocephus, how are you equipping yourself?
Well, I guess I'm going to come out with, we're coming hunting. Maybe Polycarpus.
Okay.
And I'll have a gauze pistol on my hip, and then behind my back I'll have the sniper rifle, kind of in a case.
Okay.
Just carrying it with me.
Gotcha. Yeah, that works.
Much like you'd expect a big game hunter to do, and then I'll have my medikit and a breathing device.
Okay, so you're gonna bring a filter.
Yeah.
What's Sarda doing for equipment?
So if we're going down as hunters, I guess I'll wear my hunter field garb.
Okay.
And then I've got to
such a thing.
I bought one.
Yeah, you bought one like a long time ago. I think this is like maybe the second time you've ever used it.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna need to to bring one of those breather units. I think I've got one of the combo.
Yeah.
Combo things. And then I'll bring a let's see, my stunner, whatever rifle the ship has that would look like it would be suitable for hunting something. So I don't usually ever carry rifles, but it's hard to claim you're going hunting with a pistol.
Yes, well, I'm one of those kinds of hunters. Just bring a bow.
Right. Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I've got a breather mask here.
Long arms. Here we go. So these are typical long arms. As Pappy has shown, that shotgun does an ass ton of damage.
I did do a good.
And it's got auto too.
I'll switch to the shotgun for this. Yeah, I'm gonna switch back for the shotgun for this.
Yeah, I think the shotgun sounds great.
Okay.
It almost sounds like I'm talking to people who've never gone hunting before. I want a rifle.
Yeah.
I agree, but I didn't see no damn rifle.
I want a rifle capable of taking down a Cape Buffalo. I mean, a big fucking gun, 300 Win Mag or bigger.
30-06, not okay.
Bigger, 300 Win Mag.
The gauze sniper rifle. If you're just shopping for,
it's gonna turn them into a hamburger.
I'll take that.
But it'll turn them into a hamburger. You don't ever want to hunt with a gauze.
Yeah, and you're not going to find one of those here in your ship's locker. I mean, there is of course the EH-13 laser rifle. I mean, if you could throw that in a case.
gonna do some deer hunting with my laser rifle.
If you want me to hit anything, it's got to be a slug
precision
gun.
shot.
Okay,
Just
so you
don't
need a
hold
slug.
the trigger for too long.
So
Yeah.
looks like the
I mean,
best that you're gonna get is gonna be this carbine. I mean, it's 4D minus 1, and I will tell you this. So, and this is a fucking traveler thing. So here's an example. This carbine, Gauss carbine, does 4D minus 1, right? There is, where is it? I'm looking. There's a hunting rifle.
There is a hunting rifle.
That's not standard issue. Big game rifle that only does 3D plus 3. And so, way back early on, before you joined us, Jack, there was a case where they went on a. This was before they got out, out of charted space. They stopped at a planet and they had a little bit of downtime, and some of them went on a safari hunt, and there were these huge brontosaurus type creatures, and the hunters were standard using one of these big game rifles, and it could barely touch them. At 3D plus 3, it could barely get through their natural hide armor. So I'm just saying. Its range is probably pretty good. It's got a 200-meter range, but even the carbine has better range than that. So, it is what it is.
The choice is yours.
The choice is yours.
I've gone hunting with an AR platform or modern sporting rifle. I can make do with a carbine.
Okay. Yeah, this would be standard issue, what you would have in the ship's locker. I think there is probably a big game rifle if you want it. But I would highly recommend specialized ammunition if you're going to do it, because it's just ridiculously weak, in my opinion. So
you can do heap rounds are nice.
Yeah, heap rounds would be ideal. That would really solve the problem. What are you wearing for kit? I think everybody else is bringing breather masks, but
yeah, I've got the same. I've got a breather mask. I'm writing up a list of all the crap I'm carrying with me, because I am going to bring some stuff like a laser tool and a survival kit.
I was going to say, if you want to bring a toolkit, like Bocephus. Yeah, Bocephus is bringing a med kit. If you want to bring another specialized type of toolkit that would be towards your line of work, that would be perfect. I would assume that everybody would have access. It's probably on your Batman utility belt. Probably you're all carrying a bioscanner.
I know that's all in my med kit. I also want to pack a backpack with rations, food, and water.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Right.
Yeah,
good survival kit. So
well,
Mel,
I'm gonna be sitting in the blind all day. I'm definitely taking peanut M&Ms and beef.
Beef jerky and peanut M&Ms. How are you? What are you equipping for armor, Mel?
Well, if I can go for a full-on mech suit, I would, but apparently I'm not allowed to. But I think I've determined, due to my inexperience, that I've got a new game plan, which is copy Will. Whatever the fuck he's wearing, I'm copying him. I don't know this game nearly as deeply.
I would go heavier than I'm wearing. I'm definitely not wearing much armor. I'm only wearing like 4 points of armor.
Yeah.
On a Law 5's planet, what's the most I can get away with and not look like I'm prepared for war?
So this is essentially kind of what Will's wearing, more or less.
Sold.
I think yours actually offers
Action
better
plus
than
one.
this.
Yeah, and it protects against heat and cold too.
Yeah. And he bought that way back in Charted Space. But Law Level 5, Battle Dress, Combat Armor, Flak, Cloth, and Mesh are all banned. But, theoretically speaking...
what about my Protect suit? I'd look stupid wearing a business suit out in the fucking bush. But
a hostile environment suit isn't any of those things. It's technically a heavy-duty spacesuit for hostile environment. You're going to look really fucking weird walking around town in this thing, but
I'm good with that. I mean, it does look like I'm not going to fit in.
no.
We're
God,
not fitting in anyway. We're here to kill a fucking thing. We're exotic hunters.
We're
Yeah,
hunting Sasquatch.
We're on a
Yeah.
bug hunt, so yeah, that's fine. I'll go with an HEV.
Okay. What about Pappy?
Not the HEV, but the one you had showed before.
So it. Now I gotta find it again. Planet side
The
work
standard
dress.
planet side work dress.
Yeah, it's only +1 protection. But it is, it'll protect you from thorny vegetation, small snakes, things like that. And it's partially,
Is there an in between the I have all the thing and I have just that?
Well, you can put a Diplo vest on.
There is something
and-
in between that. Where
Like, there's
is-
got to be an in between. I got damn near nothing and I have everything.
Right. Yeah, here we go. Here's
Vac suits are often something you can get away with.
this is standard Deepnight body armor, which is +4 protection.
I think that's right, because I always play like I'm the bodyguard anyway.
Sure.
That'll do.
Okay. And then you're packing the shotgun. Are you gonna keep
No, I'm using the laser rifle now. If the laser rifle will do for the hunting, I'm using the laser rifle.
Yeah, I mean,
I love my shotgun, but
yeah. You can pack the laser rifle. Are you packing a sidearm?
I mean the shotgun is my sidearm.
Yeah, carry a laser rifle and a shotgun. Wow. Okay.
Shotgun's on the back, laser rifles in the hands.
You theoretically could do that. I mean, it's gonna be
Well, we're hunters.
yeah.
So
It's gonna be bulky,
as
but
long
yeah, you
as-
could do that. And I assume you're gonna bring a filter mask or a rebreather of some kind.
Yeah,
Okay.
Standard survival stuff.
So you guys come down off the ship, and there's a standard deck crew that comes running up, and they are going to charge you. And this is probably going to fall on Mel, because I think he's the only one with actual. He's got Commonwealth credits.
Come on, Sugar Daddy Mel.
They're going to charge you. I always forget what the different multiplier is for Starport. Here we go.
That's that hunter field garb.
So it's 300 credits for birthing. They do have fuel, but it's only unrefined. I mean, you guys would only need 10 tons of fuel, and while you're busy doing whatever else, your fuel processors can crunch it down. And they would only charge 500 credits for fuel.
I think I paid more at a parking meter.
Right. Right.
That's a discount. They're basically selling us contaminated water.
Right.
That's what I would do. It'd just
You
be all
don't
the
need to
sewage.
buy fuel, though, because, like I said, you've got 3 jump 1s left in you. So.
But I mean, if you're a city like this, you're just using all your recycled gray water. Just sell that as fuel.
Right, exactly. Yeah, they charge 50 credits per ton. So yeah, I mean, if you don't want to buy fuel, you don't need to. But yeah, they'll charge you 300 credits for birthing cost. They do have a small shipyard for basically building shuttles and small craft, but nothing that's capable of constructing starships with jump drives. But they do offer repairs. No high port here, but yeah, just and the deck crewman, he takes your 300 Commonwealth credits and points you in a direction towards. And he says, "Yeah, you." And he kind of looks you guys over. And he's like, especially looking at Mel and his HEV. He's like, and all of your
really?
equipment.
The dolphin didn't raise any eyebrows.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. There. So yeah, he would be raising some eyebrows at Bocephus, a little bit, but the fact that Bocephus is acting pretty much exactly the same way that you guys do, kind of offsets that uncanny valley situation, and it's not like that Bocephus would be the first alien that he's seen. I mean, he's seen Droin, obviously. The place is lousy with Droin. And potentially there are other species. And here's something that is interesting. So this particular individual, let me find it, looks like this. And you see a number of these bulky guys walking around. And in the common parlance of the FSN region, aside from just the regular humans and Droin, there are two genetically modified human species. They're still humans. They're just adapted, and these guys are brutes, and they are more adapted to high gravity environments. And so, but they've spread out all over the place. And basically, his ancestors grew up on a high gravity world, and at some point, probably in the fairly recent past, he moved off. Their family moved off and have spread throughout. Some of the other guys look like this, and these are referred to as Logis, and that's the opposite. They grew up either in low gravity colonies or in perhaps asteroid belt colonies, things like that. They're very skinny. They've got really long, spindly arms, and they're generally fairly quick in low G, but on a standard gravity planet, they almost move like it's a lot of work for them. And so you see a number of both of these types moving around, not just on the deck crew, but like around the starport, because you can see that there's several of these small trade ships that are getting loaded up with cargo containers and typical shit at a starport. It's just there are these two additional types of humans that are moving about. But the deck guy, he points off in a direction after looking you guys over and kind of side-eyeing Bocephus, and he says, "Yeah, you'll want to go up and check with the administrator." And he looks you over and he says, "So, are you here on a hunting trip? What? We've got a lot of game here, but you guys are really decked out."
Yeah, we hear you got some big game.
Wendigo.
Okay, go ahead and make a streetwise plus social check.
Sure.
Well, Bocephus, because he brought up Wendigo.
All right.
Ooh.
10.
So this guy starts laughing. He's just shaking his head, and he goes, "Oh yeah. So you've probably been sent by some corporate bigwig because you heard the tall tales coming out of the city of Entolier. Yeah. They're claiming that they've got problems with Wendigo and Aranalaskas, and they're all telling ghost stories out there." He says, "If that's why you're here, you're definitely going to want to go talk to somebody at the administration's office."
Can't wait. This is going to be awesome.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Not a problem. Not a problem. So you kind of, they don't really have much in the way of a customs here, and you can see that there are starport security personnel moving around, and they all give you a side eye, obviously because of how you're equipped. Nobody seems to. It's for a law level 5 planet. Nobody seems to stop you. Security doesn't come up and question you or ask you for a permit. They take note and go about their business. And you make it to the administration's office, and you come in with your duffel bags of shit, and you come in, and there's a secretary, and she's sitting behind a desk, and the interior of this, it looks like an Irishman's basement from like the 1970s, where everything's got wood paneling. Except it's real wood. It's not that fake shit that people bought at Bimart in like '79. No. This is real stuff, handcrafted right here on Wildwood. But the whole office is like that. And she's typing away on this, little tech level 5 computer, and she kind of looks up and she says, "Oh, what are you guys doing here?" And she looks at Bocephus and she goes, "Is that a fish?"
No, I'm a mammal.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to sound rude. I've just never seen someone like you. What?
Sorry, my Alexa decided to stop.
Oh, no problem. What can I help you with?
We've been sent to find out why the shipments have stopped. They say it was because of a wendigo, and if that was the case, we were going to kill the wendigo. I am here to provide counseling and medical aid to any that might need it on our path.
And she says, "Oh, so somebody finally took their aranalaska stories seriously, and you're here to investigate. Hold on." And she hits a button on her desk. She says, "Yes, sir. There's somebody here to talk to you about the wendigo situation." And through the intercom, you're, "Oh, Jesus Christ, are you serious? Not this shit again." She says, "No, sir. They're from I'm not sure." She looks and she goes, "Who sent you?"
We're from Earth.
And she starts laughing. She says, "They said they're from Earth." And he goes, "What?" He goes, I'll be out there in just a moment." And so after a minute or two, this guy comes out, and he's wearing like an off the rack tweed jacket with the leather patches on the elbows, but the rest of him, he looks like he might spend the rest of his day out in the forest logging. And he comes out and he says, and he offers to shake all of your hands. Welcome to Wildwood, and David's Landing. What is it that you're here to do?
Well, we are with the Worldly Terran Front, and we're here to let the WTF is to be taken seriously, and we are here because there was complaints about wendigos or possibly interrupting the ability to continue to make shipments.
Go ahead and make a deception plus social check.
We were told your planet's infested with wendigo.
Yeah, we're gonna bag us some Sasquatch.
Yeah. Oh, I actually have deception. Hell yeah. Oh, but I'm not lying very good.
No, it's only cancer. You'll get better. You'll be just fine.
As soon as you said WTF, I just started laughing. I mean,
yeah.
And so he just kind of starts to laugh, and he goes, yeah. And the secretary, she says, "Do you want me to search up WTF, sir?" And he goes, No, I think somebody's pulling my leg. And he says, "So, yes." He says, I can only assume that you're here about missing shipments to Tradeport. He says, he points at, he goes, You're a funny one, Dolphin Man. He says, "So, we've been getting reports out of Entolier, and he says, I'm going to be real honest. Some of those guys, I think, have been out in the forest for too long. But
Gotcha.
they had some kind of logging camp out there, and they claim there was some attack, and that people have gone missing. And he says, to be honest, their shipments from that logging camp have stopped entirely. And he says, but that's not really that unusual. A couple pieces of equipment break down in some of these camps, and they shut down for months at a time. He says, as you can imagine, we don't get too many replacement spares showing up through here very often, so it can take a little bit. But they've made all these claims, and they've been requesting assistance, and so far, it just hasn't really been high. Chasing ghost stories has not been really very high on our to-do list.
I can't imagine a place like that is too self-sufficient. Aren't they also dependent on supplies going back to them?
Oh, yeah.
If they're not delivering product, are they getting goods? Are they getting resupplied?
We haven't stopped sending supplies to Intolier, and Intolier has its own production. In fact, the city of Intolier is actually quite a bit larger than David's Landing. So the logging camp themselves wouldn't be in danger of a lack of food or water or resources, but again, it just hasn't been a high priority to go chasing after Wendigo.
Do one of these rails take us out that way?
He says, indeed it does. He says, so there is a rail line. In fact, there will be a train shipment with a personnel car that will take you down there. It's about 400 kilometers to Intolier. He says, I can go ahead and get you seated comfortably. He says, oh, and also he looks over at his secretary. He goes, he looks him over. He goes, get them firearms permits. We don't, just in case, we don't want anybody asking you any questions. We'll give you firearms permits. Good for both David's Landing and the city of Intolier. Just to dot all of our I's.
If you really want to make them mad, you should whip up some certificate hunting licenses for Wendigo hunting licenses.
He starts laughing. He goes, hey, you know what? He looks over and he goes, yes, and do that. Yes, that's hilarious. Go ahead and print up some documents for hunting licenses for Wendigo and aranalaska. That should go over really well. And make sure they're on the yellow tags too.
Oh, you got to have a Wendigo chili cookout.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know who you guys are, and he looks at Bocephus or where you're from, but I like you guys. You have a good sense of humor. So
yeah,
she gives you guys some 2 sets of badges. One is a firearms permit, and the other is a hunting license for Wendigo and aranalaska. And
beautiful.
They give you directions to the rail line, and so they put you get into the personnel car of this train, and it's not particularly comfortable for 400 kilometers. It would be kind of like riding, in a shitty commuter train. It's generally just an unpleasant, cramped ride, but it'll get you where you need to go. And so this is the city of Intolier, and this rail line up here is where you're coming in from to the city. And so as you are traveling on the rail line, you can see that there are a number of farms that you pass by. And again, you see that part of the workload of these farms is not just tending the farms, but they're having to use machinery. And in one case, you see some guy out there with a flamethrower to keep the vegetation from the forest back. And you passing this rail line, now that you're down on the ground, there is a small road on each side that is barely big enough for a single vehicle, and beyond that is this wall of forest and vegetation. It is just a veritable wall. And if these guys, if they don't take their monthly job of keeping the forest clear, it wouldn't be more than a couple months, and these farmsteads would just be completely engulfed in forest. I mean, this planet is crazy. But it takes you a couple hours on this train line, and they get you into Entolier. And it is quite a bit of a larger city. There is about 25,000 people that live in Entolier. And you can see that about, just as you're coming into the city, you can see that there, about right here, there is another rail line that comes off, but the rail line does not connect to the rail line that you're on. It stops short of connecting to the main rail line. And you come into town, into the railway station, and when you get out, the one thing that you notice is that, just as you are kind of stepping off and you can see road signs, the populace that is walking around seems very low key, like very withdrawn, and it's already probably about midday, but you don't see people rushing around. They're not going. If they are going to grab a bite to eat for lunch, they eat and then leave and get back to work. You don't hear a lot of people talking. It's a very quiet, subdued city. What are you guys doing? You've stepped off the train. You're at the railway station.
I'd like to ask a random somebody, what's going on around here?
Sure, go ahead and make a streetwise plus. Streetwise plus social.
Yeah, I'm awkward as shit. I'm touching myself a lot. Like, hey, scratching my ass, and smelling it. Oh, how y'all doing today?
So this guy kind of looks and goes, "No, I don't want any," and shuffles off in a hurry.
See, that's pretty awkward here. These people are probably being oppressed.
So, yeah.
Well, I see.
What's the name of the company that's supposed to be making these deliveries?
That's a really good question. What is the name of this company?
I would assume they make the delivery via rail.
They do not have a name. It is simply called The Logging Camp.
Okay. I would assume the logs are delivered via rail, so I'm going to look around the rail station, or actually ask about log deliveries.
Sure. Go ahead and make an admin plus intellect,
sure.
or admin plus, your choice, intellect or education.
Education it is. 10.
So there is a little, like, black with green type screen terminal sitting there. It looks like it is way old, and it's I don't know if you've ever seen these. You see these sometimes in old warehouses or at railroad stations. The keyboard has that heavy plastic cover over it that you're supposed to type through.
Yeah. And all the keys are yellow.
Yeah.
Looks like someone's been smoking cigarettes around them a lot.
Cigarettes around it all the time. And so you type away, and it brings up information, and it says, it comes up saying that the logging camp, and that's the only name that it has, is currently inactive. Please see Entolier administration for information on logging shipments, and it gives directions and a street address. It seems, looking at it brings up a little ASCII map, and it looks like it's maybe about 4 blocks from here.
All right. It's like a Pip-Boy display.
Right. Actually, probably worse than a Pip-Boy display. But so you make your way over to the Entolier administration building, and there, as you're walking there, you do see that there are all of the buildings are. I mean, everything's made of wood. Like everything is made of wood, but you do see that there are some fairly nice ground vehicles, automobiles, electric, moving around, all at about tech level 8. Most of the stuff that you see here is around tech level 5, but there are quite a few tech level 8 applications of technology. Okay. And so you make your way into the administration's office with your duffel bags full of crap, and again there's a young guy that is filing something, and he turns around and he again kind of looks over Bocephus and looks at you guys. Do you have permits for that equipment?
We do, and licenses.
He kind of just glances at him and goes, "Oh, okay. So it's stamped that you came from David's Landing. What can I help you with?"
We've been sent here specifically to make sure the wood continues to flow. And so we were led to believe that there might be a wendigo problem, and so we came armed for wendigo. But if there's any other types of problems that we can maybe address, we're here to help with those as well.
He says, okay. Wait right here. And he doesn't even bother with the intercom. He goes out the back door and out into a hallway, and you hear him yell, Sir! Yeah, they finally sent somebody. They're right out here in the waiting room. And you see this rather rotund guy that's wearing a shirt that's maybe a size too short, or too small, and it looks like the buttons are stretching, and he comes busting out, and he's also wearing a tie that's too short. It doesn't even go to his belly button. Anyways, he comes out and he comes through the side door of the hallway, and he says, so David's Landing finally sent somebody to deal with that damned aranalaska. I am so glad to see you guys. He says, you're probably going to want to talk to the survivor.
Yes.
He says, so, and he writes, he scribbles down on a piece of paper. He says, this is his address. His name is Millard Steven, and he's just a young kid, and somehow he survived the whole thing. In my opinion, the boy's a hero, but not everybody really agrees with that. He was the only one to have survived from the logging camp. Nobody else has come back. They've all gone missing.
Okay.
A lot of people think that maybe Millard had something to do with it, but I don't believe it. He's traumatized. I just want to let you know.
Okay.
We're not here to judge. I mean, what you do with your goats on your time, sir, is none of our concern.
So he gives you this piece of information, or this note with Millard's address on it, and he says, when you're ready to leave, we've got a train that used to haul supplies back and forth. He says, the Wendigo, or aranalaska. I personally think it's probably an aranalaska myself, but I'm not an expert.
The difference?
So,
what would you say? What would you say is the main difference between those two?
So, their definition of a Wendigo is exactly that of Old Terran Earth.
Gotcha.
It is some spirit, and that's why some of the people don't trust Millard, being the only survivor. And their interpretation is exactly as a Wendigo, that the spirit took over the kid's body, and that he killed everybody and went berserk, and then it left his body and he came back. And so everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people are keeping their distance from Millard. And because of that, since the incident, of course, Millard's been out of work. Millard, come to find out, is an apprentice railway engineer. And nobody will hire him because too many people here in the city of Entolier believe that he is possibly a receptacle for the wendigo. The aranalaska is more of a ghost story Sasquatch kind of beast that is a local legend, and that legend actually it has its home here on Wildwood, but it's a story that you'll find on several planets throughout the FSN region. Wildwood is definitely the biggest group of believers in the aranalaska, but like I said, there are multiple planets all throughout the region have similar tales. So that's the difference. And this administrator, he believes that he doesn't believe in the Wendigo story. He thinks it's in aranalaska. And he says he does pull out some photographs, and he says, so this problem has been going on for some time before the incident that young Millard got involved with that shut the logging camp down permanently. And he hands you these actual still photographs, not a computer pad or anything, actual physical photographs, and they all look like exactly what you would expect. There's like a blur in the forest, or somebody doesn't know how to stand still when taking a picture. There's a light. Nobody knows what the light is. Like maybe they're taking a flash picture in a mirror. They're terrible, terrible photos. But this administrator is like, see, if you look at these, you can clearly make out that this is in aranalaska. I mean, you can see them right there, plain as day.
Oh my lord.
Sure. Well, we'll bring some better. We're gonna bring some better photographic equipment out with us.
Oh, that would be a great idea. I mean, if we could get a clear picture, we'd finally be able to prove that this thing exists.
Is it important to you that we prove that it exists?
I think it's amazing. We need definite proof.
We're going to be on Ancient Aliens.
We do have hunting licenses.
He says, "Well, it is important to me. I am a true believer in the aranalaska legend. They've been haunting these lands for many years. My granddaddy said that he ran into one out in the forest and it scared the bejesus out of him. I believe him."
Well, we've got the recording equipment to get good records of it.
That would be fantastic. So you guys make your way over to this small ramshackle apartment of Millard Steven, and I mean it looks like somebody stacked a bunch of log cabins on top of each other, and he's up on the second floor. And you get up there and you knock, and this kid wearing a 17-year-old strapping kid. I mean, looks like he probably hasn't showered in a couple of days, but he's about 17, wearing a wife beater. He opens up the door. Who are you guys? And he's again looking at Bocephus. He's like, what?
What are you guys?
Right, yeah, like, what the fuck is going on? And he seems a little, like, when he looks at Bocephus, you kind of see the color drain from him for a second, and he seems a little shaky. He seems a mite jumpy.
Hey there.
I know this is a little strange, but I'm here to tell you that I'm your real father.
I'll allow you to make a deception plus social check with that.
All right. See, your mom was swimming across a creek one day, and I was underwater, and I hadn't had any in a while, and so I had my way with it.
He reaches out and he kind of touches you, and he goes, "Oh, you are real. I thought that was like a rubber mask or something. I thought you were putting me on. I know who my daddy and my mom are." He says, what y'all want?
We actually got sent here to find some information about the attack. Folks are concerned about what happened out there in the woods. We just want to get any information you've got.
You guys are somebody's finally taking it seriously. Oh, thank God.
I mean, yep.
He says, look, he welcomes you in. And there's like loose clothing. There's an empty pizza box on the couch, and he shovels all that onto the floor and out of the way. He's like, go ahead, sit down. You guys want a beer?
Sure.
Yep.
Yep. So he goes back into the kitchen, and he comes back out with, you hear, beer bottles opening up, and he comes out and hands you all each a beer. So here's how it is. I'm an apprentice railway engineer, and I was working on the train. See, there is a train that hauls the lumber from the logging camp, and it brings it back here to Entolier. It doesn't connect all the way to the rail line, right? So we gotta offload it at the edge of the city, and then we gotta reload supplies that we take back to the logging camp. Anyways, that was my job. But about I guess it's going on about 2 weeks now. We were out there, and we had just made a run, and when we came back, that damn creature, and we've been noticing it around the camp. They've been moving in and out. A couple of people would disappear, and it got to a point where none of the loggers wanted to go out in the forest to actually do their damn jobs because they were afraid of getting snatched by the wendigo or the aranalaska. And so they wouldn't go further than they could. They wouldn't go out of sight of the logging camp, which, as you can imagine, being a logger is kind of a problem to do your job, right? And so we've been dealing with this for months. And then we made this last run about 2 weeks ago, and I was at the controls of the train, and when we got back, we couldn't make it all the way back to the camp. It was probably about 40 clicks from the camp, and that damn creature had piled up logs on the railway. And so we unloaded the train, and we carried them in because we were going to get some machinery to come back and move these logs. They're huge logs, right? He says, you can see the damn trees. They were just laying there, and they weren't like cut logs. They were whole trees that with the root ball and everything just laying on the tracks. And so we carried all of our shit back to the logging camp, and when we got back, night was starting to fall because we had to carry all this crap, and it took us forever. And we get back there, and that's when the real terror started. Several of them. There were multiple of these aranalaska that came in out of the forest in the night, and you couldn't see them. You would just hear people getting shredded in the distance, and then you would hear a shotgun blast. And he said it was mass pandemonium, and so he goes, I know what the city administrator said. He thinks I'm a hero, but he says I'm not a hero. I ran off. I followed that rail line all the way back 40 kilometers, and I didn't stop running until I got to that train, and then I fired it up and came back to town, and I haven't been back since.
Well, you're the one
like
you survived, so I wouldn't say you were too paranoid.
No. The only way you can save face is by taking us this train and then taking us down that way. You should come with us.
He says, I was just going to say the same thing. I need to redeem myself. If in front of everybody, I need to redeem myself, but mostly I need to do it for myself. Hold on, I'll go get my stuff. So he goes off into the back, and you hear him rummaging around. Everybody can make a recon plus intellect check.
Hey!
There you go.
11. Even though that's weird because I got a 7.
Wrong one. That wasn't right. Recon.
Not so good.
So Pappy and Bocephus, you can hear him. His bedroom door at the end of the hallway is open, and you can hear him throwing stuff into a what sounds like a backpack. And then you hear the distinct
putting his battle dress on.
Yeah, putting on battle dress. Then you hear the distinct sound of a shotgun round getting chambered. That racking sound. And he comes back out, and he's got a shotgun. He's got he's put on a pair of overalls, and he's got a baseball cap on, and he's got a backpack, and he says, "Okay, come on, we'll get over there to that station, and I'll take you down there."
Sounds good.
So he takes you down this rail line, and by the time you, just like he said, about 40 clicks from the logging camp, and he's pointing it out, and you're all kind of in the cab of this train. There is no personnel car. There's basically a log car, and then behind that is like a freight car, and that's it. So you're all in the front cab of this train, and he points and he says, "See what I mean?" And then as you know, the light is starting to get a little bit dimmer. It's probably by now you're probably talking about 4 or 5 in the evening. And if you've ever been up in the deep forest, if you were out in a clearing 4 or 5 in the evening in the middle of summer, it's still fairly bright, sunny light. But you get into under the canopy of the trees, and it's another thing. It's becoming twilight under the canopy. And that's kind of what you're noticing here. And every once in a while you look up, even along this rail line, you can see bright sunny skies up above you. But down here in the canopy, it's starting to get dusky. And just like he said, there are entire trees laying across this rail line. Root ball and everything. Like they were just shoved over. And he says, "See? That's what that sumbitch did."
All right, well, that's going to suck.
Came from? Like, did they just get pushed over, or have they been picked up and moved?
Do you guys want to investigate the area? You can.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
Sounds like a good way,
so you guys, I assume at this point you're suited up. I mean, you had plenty of time, right? So you're.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, you're suited up, and everybody can make a investigate plus intellect check.
Oh, you're switching the skills up and making me look.
I was a little buzzed from the beer. I don't think I noticed everything.
Fuck.
So, Pappy and Bocephus, you kind of are looking around. You're kind of looking at these trees. I'm like, the root ball on these trees, some of the root balls are as big as the entire train, if not bigger. And so you're just looking there, you're like, what the fuck? What did this? I mean, it doesn't, you don't see any, like, you don't see the bite of, like, a piece of machinery, like if a cat came up and pushed on a tree. You don't see where the barrel would hit. It just has been pushed over. But Sarda and Mel, they kind of go off on either side of the train, and you can see where there are a large flattened area. It's hard to tell if it's like a track, but there's a large flattened area, like something walked up here, and then you can see where this tree used to be. There's a big fucking hole here. It looks like it was partially dug out and then pushed over.
Okay.
So
are there any tracks or anything that might have caused this that are obvious?
Not entirely. So, like, you can see that there are big flattened areas, but there's not really very much in the way of tracks per se. I mean, the foliage around here is so dense.
Right.
And so Millard tells you, he's like, oh, well, he tells, as Bocephus and Pappy are looking over this tree, he goes, we're gonna have to walk from here. And he reaches back and he pulls out the shotgun. He goes, I'm not gonna let that sumbitch sneak up on me again.
I hear that. Keep a hand on the shotgun. Have one on the pump and the other hand on the 40, pumping on a blunt.
Yeah, that.
So, as you guys are walking down the track, everybody can make a recon plus intellect check.
Might want to do a life scan here.
I've been kind of just holding off, on doing
What was
the
this check again? I'm sorry.
Recon plus
Recon.
intellect.
recon.
Oh, no, it's completely clueless. So,
Nope, no idea.
So all of you, of course, you hear the millions of sounds of a very active forest. There's bugs, there's birds, there's an animal making a call off in the distance that you can't quite identify because you're not from here. But Pappy and Sarda and Bocephus, as you guys, you don't know if it's quite, maybe some part of your very logical and scientific traveler brain is starting to buy into the bullshit, but you feel like you're being watched this entire time. And a couple times you start and you look off into the forest, but there's nothing there.
I'm gonna do a life scan.
Okay.
And while he's doing the live scan, I'm going to look around through the thermal scope of my sniper rifle.
Okay.
He's going to do better with his. Yeah.
Yeah, a DC4. So
Yeah. It's like as easy as
So
it
looking
gets.
through the thermal scope, you don't see much of anything. You see thermal scope. You pick up that it looks like there's some kind of deer-like creature that is looking back at you, and then as soon as it makes the realization that somebody's looking at it, it takes off and bolts. You see a bunch of birds, a bunch of small bugs, but you don't see anything that would be you don't see anything Wendigo-esque. Sarda's life scan, you do pick something up, but it is not like anything that you have ever detected before. And let me, I got to look at how to describe this. It's intelligent, but it's intelligent, but single-minded and very rudimentary.
So, like insect brain, or
Yep, maybe a cross between like insect and plant.
okay,
Like
so something pretty alien.
It's pretty
Right.
alien, yeah.
All right. So I'll let Bocephus know that I'm getting a.
You're pinging something.
Yeah, I'm paying something, but it's something. It's not an animal. It's something weird. Plant or insect or something weird hybrid.
Well,
And you pick up
that's where we shine.
within, because I mean your range for this is
5K.
5,000 clicks. You're picking up multiples of these.
Sure.
And the ones that you're picking up within 5,000 clicks, most of them aren't mobile.
Okay.
There are some that are, and the ones that are mobile are their intellect is a little bit more advanced than the ones that are stationary.
Okay.
But it's still that same alien kind of very single-minded, do this job and don't let anything stop you, and then move on and do the other job. Like it's working off of a list.
Yeah. So like they're like ants.
Yeah, kind of.
That become plants as they get smarter and older.
Right? Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
And so So you're kind of concentrating for a second, and Millard comes over and kind of nudges Pappy. He goes, "What's he doing?"
Searching. He's using the force. He's
He goes, "What? He's what?"
I'm just messing with you, kid. He's using some high techy special stuff. He's gonna find us what's out there. That's what he's doing.
Oh, okay, yeah. He kind of looks over at Pappy. And he looks at your rifle, and he goes, "Whew, that is a hell of a gun. What caliber is that?"
All of them.
All of them.
The kind that leaves nothing behind.
You guys really did come hunting for something. I ain't seen weapons like that. He goes, my great granddaddy said one time he went to Tradeport and he saw some really cool shit. That must be where you got that. That's pretty fantastic. And, all right, come on, follow me.
Yeah.
And so he leads you into the logging camp about another 40 clicks. And so this is the logging camp. And, of course, this is where you come in from on this rail line. Just for shits and giggles, I'm going to throw you guys up here. And then you guys can tell me where
this reminds a lot of the map our very first fight, a game where we got attacked by all those insect creatures.
Right, yeah. I was thinking that too. I'm like, hey, wait a minute.
This map, I'm like, this map looks familiar. It's different, but
yeah, it's different, but it is very close. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing with those were ant-like creatures too. That's weird. I didn't think about that, but I did recognize the map. So yeah, you come in, and once again, immediately, I mean, you can see like these here. These are stacks of logs that look like they're ready to be loaded up onto a train. But somebody stacked some of these logs here on the tracks, and they're not like the trees that were tipped over. These are logs that would have been ready to load up, but somebody stacked them on top of the tracks. And these look different. These don't look like the other ones. These look like people did this. But you can also see that there's a bunch of large cranes around here for lifting logs. And again, these buildings, this is the immediate thought that comes to you is this is what happens when a temporary settlement is here too long. And so most of these buildings started out as prefabs and have been either modified or completely rebuilt with local resources and are now wood structures.
Okay.
Where would you guys like to go to investigate?
There's no sign of life, active people living.
You see nothing. No.
Let's head to the office.
Okay, you want to head to the office. What about...
Yeah, I know that when I did the live scan, I didn't get any humans, so, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Where would Bocephus like to go?
I guess I'm just going to kind of follow along with Sarda. I'm just going to kind of look around, staying over here kind of where he is, but I'm just looking around and,
okay. I will come back to you guys and just say, Mel, where would you like to go?
Sorry, wrong button again. I was going to follow Sarah anyway because the office is where my skill set will actually matter.
Okay. All right.
The admin and the brokering and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I'm stronger in an office setting than I am in the bush.
Okay. Like most of us. Anymore. In 2025, most of us are more suited to an office than we are to the bush. Pappy, where are you going?
I am not of the divide and conquer. I will stay close to somebody else.
Okay. So, the first thing that is immediate as all of you are heading to these offices and you can see this kind of around the camp too, but it's really apparent here. It looks like these logs were set up, and you see it over here and over here and all the way over here. It looks like these logs were set up as some kind of barricade by amateurs that had no sense of setting up firing positions. They were trying to keep something out. Everybody can make a recon plus intellect check. So, Mel, as you're walking through, you can see that there are a lot of shotgun and brass shell casings laying around. Pappy, you find a whole shotgun, and it is smeared in blood.
Oh. I was like, hey.
Get some DNA off that.
I'll just clone him, and then his family doesn't have to be missing him anymore.
They won't even know. You'll be a couple months. He might act a little different. But
what are these things? These yellow objects?
Those are cranes, and
okay.
like this is a crane. These are like giant saws. This is all lumber processing. There's huge circular saws in these two buildings. Down here, this is more, so all the way down south, this is more like, these aren't like closed buildings. They're open on all sides, and they have a roof, but they're set up more like racks for holding finished product. Kind of like a firewood rack.
Right. Okay. Drying rack.
Yeah. So, yeah, Pappy finds this bloody shotgun, and Mel notices that there are a lot of shell casings laying around. And you guys all see these poorly constructed barriers.
Something of a firefight was in here.
That would be your guess.
And there was a firefight.
Nice.
So the door to the office, when you get up to the office, the door is actually not even latched shut. You just push on the door and it swings open. And you can see that there is a bloody smear on the dirty wood floor in here. Somebody was dragged out of here.
Somebody's having a bad day somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
The offices do have computers set up, but there's no power to anything.
I guess we need to go check the generator housing is right next to here.
Who's going to generate? Well, I mean, that's going to be a power situation.
We're all sticking together.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go. We're going to go as a group over here because whatever this is something pretty big or powerful anyway. Came through.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. After that, I'm like, we are not separating.
But guys, if you split up, you can get through the dungeon faster. Everybody knows that. So you get over to generator housing, and this is one of the couple of buildings that is still a prefab, and the door's not locked because, I mean, you're out in the middle of the forest, you know.
They clearly had enough advance warning about this attack that they could set up defenses. I mean, this wasn't a complete surprise.
Yeah, your guess is that these barricades that were set up, I mean, it's not that they didn't know that it was coming. It's that they didn't have the experience to do it properly.
Yeah, I'm just saying though that whatever attacked them, it wasn't by surprise. They had notice. They could set up barriers and stuff.
So you get into the generator housing, and so Sarda, you can make an engineering power plus intellect or education check.
Sure, but I'm not the best at this.
I mean, whoever wants to. I thought you had it, but
I mean, I do, but not. I don't have the +3 that
Mel Scott. Yeah.
our highly educated friend. All right, I rolled it. What's going on? There we go. So, gun
Okay.
combat.
Yeah.
That's the wrong one.
So yeah.
Hold on. Hold on. It's the wrong one.
Oh.
There we go. 12.
Oh, even better.
I rolled gun combat energy instead of.
So you come in, and it's not that the generator's damaged or even turned off. It ran out of fuel, and there are a couple of large fuel drums sitting there.
All right, yeah, let's refuel.
So yeah, you fuel it up, and you restart the sequence, and it kind of starts to growl to life. It's not quiet, and as it starts to come to life, you can see that lights start coming on around the camp.
Okay. There's a chance that the generator is what caused the attack.
And you, yeah, that's right. Well, that's from that last game. They didn't like the sound. You're making too much noise. And you can hear that some music starts playing coming from the canteen. It just kind of starts playing some old timey type music. It's a little creepy considering that there's nobody around and this music just comes on.
Yeah. You want to go check that out next, or do you want to go back to the offices and hit the computers?
I mean, the offices look like where some kind of last stand would have done. If they typed anything up on the computer, it'd probably be good to know that.
Yeah, let's go back then and check out the computer.
Okay. So you guys,
there's a very good chance lumbering is not going to be
on a swivel, though.
Yeah, we're looking about.
So everybody make another recon plus intellect check.
Fuck me.
Yeah. Every time you roll recon, you're rolling a 5. Every time. So
Happy for some reason is distracted by the music.
So Sarda and Mel, as you guys are walking through, and Pappy's kind of looking back at the music, and it is creeping you out. Like, normally you like, oh, there's a canteen that's playing music. They probably got beer and shit. Maybe there's some women over there. No. This is creeping you the fuck out. And Bocephus is picking at his blowhole. But Mel and Sarda, out of the both of you see Mel and Sarda both turn and look off into the forest. And by now, it's probably getting close to about 7 o'clock. Now it's starting to get dark. And both of you swear to God you saw something move in the forest. But you still hear, the sound. You still hear the sounds of the forest. You still hear birds and animals in the distance. And so Mel and Sarda, you can make a survival plus intellect or education check. Wow. That survival check that you hardly ever have to make. Yeah. So it occurs to Sarda that
I die on the spot with a 3.
Okay, I've got it. I've got survival 2 slotted. So
Sarda, you're looking, and you swear to God you saw something moving just at the edge of the forest line, and it occurs to you though, you kind of get that cold sweat feeling, like you're being watched again. And then it occurs to you that if there was really something there, the creatures of the forest would have, in your experience, would have died down. They would have gone silent. But that hasn't happened.
Right. So they don't perceive it as a threat. Okay.
He's like, I'm not convinced there isn't something there. They just don't think it's bad.
Well, the animals don't.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
doesn't mean we're safe.
my outlandish theory based on what we've done so far is some kind of entity is offended of the logging, and it's the plants or something have come in some weird way to react. So
hold on to that thought, and I'm going to expound on that.
That's just where my mind is going, you know.
I'm Larry Niven reading Traveler writer.
You know, maybe ints.
I'm gonna grab something to drink. Be right back.
Get me a beer.
Man, I went to my favorite Italian restaurant tonight. It was last time for the new location. The bartender lady was trying to make her signature cocktail, so I had to try 4 of them.
You had to.
Well,
I don't understand.
Well, you know, you
got to
say
be
things,
sure.
you know. Well, no, you know, she made each one of them different. You know, she's trying to dial it in.
Yeah, I've done that.
So, yeah. So,
what was your signature drink?
it's some kind of like sangria thing. It's got like
Beer.
champagne and some kind of different juices and stuff, and then some wine that she put in there. I mean, it's an Italian restaurant, so it went good. I had shrimp scampi.
Nice.
Really nice, yeah. And the drinks were great, you know. And then the last thing I had was a caramel macchiato to stay awake to play this.
Of course.
So
So Bocephus brings up his theory about some entity got offended by the logging or the noise or what have you. But Sarda is
AFK.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, he's still gone.
Well, we'll give him just a moment.
Yeah, he said he was going to pee in a cup.
Yes.
Something like that.
Get something to drink. You know.
Whatever.
I think that's really what he said.
Yeah, trying to describe these guys as far as a psionics check goes. I hadn't really thought about that. They are fucking alien. Trying to describe them from a psionic standpoint would be like trying to accurately describe a tesseract in a 3D environment, which is impossible because it's a 4D structure.
It looked like a cube.
That's as close as you can get, is a constantly transforming cube that folds in on itself. That's as close as you can get, and even that's not accurate.
Well, you can't really know a new species until you've ensured that you know how to kill it.
Right? Yes.
Yeah. If you don't know how to kill.
While I was uploading Wednesday night, I played the first episode of Peacemaker. That show's so fucking funny. Yeah,
I love that show.
I believe in peace, and I made a vow that I will achieve peace no matter how many people I have to kill to do it.
Yep. That was a very fun show. I honestly enjoyed that show.
Hilarious. And Eagly, when he finally comes back out of prison and it hugs him, he's, Dad, get my phone. So dumb. It's so dumb. Where he's banging the hooker in the bathroom and he yells, "Freedom!"
Yes.
So ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, God. Season 2's coming out.
Oh, nice.
So now that Will's back,
I look forward to it.
I will
Sorry
expound.
about that.
No problem. I will expound upon this. So, Bocephus brings up that he thinks his theory is that there's an entity out in the forest that is offended and pissed off at the logging and whatnot. But Sarda doesn't necessarily believe that. And the reason why Sarda wouldn't believe that is because he did the life detection, and the intelligence that you are detecting with life detection doesn't seem to have a concept of animosity, enmity, anger, fear.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
Offense.
I'll just say it's more plant-like, man.
All right. Well, it's apparent that you've never played Zombie Plants.
I love that game. There was one LAN where that's all my wife played for an entire weekend. I'm just going to play Plants vs. Zombies. All right. What do you want to do? So, you get back into the office. Like I said, it's probably around 7 p.m. at this point. It's starting to get pretty dark. The power came back on to the computers. The computers are rebooting. They are slightly better than you would expect, or from what you've seen at the starport and whatnot. These are actually like tech level 8 computers. So this was for a temporary operation, or in air quotes, temporary operation. They had done some upgrades, and so this sort of modern desktop comes up, tech level 8. Windows 11 comes up. What are you? Who's going through the computers?
Isn't that Mel's shit?
Mel's definitely very good at it.
I have a certain level of skill.
I'm trained in it, but I'm not as smart.
Yeah.
Sure.
I've got two ranks in computer, but I only add 1 to that, so Mel's got a better role.
So sure, go ahead and make a electronics, computers plus intellect or education check.
Got a 10.
Okay. So Mel kind of sits down, and you immediately notice that it's a well-worn office chair, and it's not a good office chair. It's like the secretary chair that you buy from Walmart. It's good for about a week, and but you do see that there are some signs of like cigarette burns on the keyboard, but there's also there's a blood smear across the keyboard, and you kind of make your way through the system, and you find that up until 2 weeks ago, you can see that there are steady logging shipments. Everything is going right, but you do find a log, and in this log, the I guess you could call them admins have been keeping kind of a log of what's going on, and they are detailing that the way they put it is that something has been stalking the logging camp, and this log on the stalking event goes back probably 9 months, and there are instances in this log exactly like the kid told you, and exactly like the city administrator told you. People going missing. There are sections of the log that detail that the loggers are getting, as time goes on, they're getting more and more frightened, and they are, finally it gets to a point, probably up to about 2 months ago, where none of the loggers were starting to get to a point where they were so scared that they were talking about going on strike and just boarding up the train and going the fuck home. And it, of course, was brought up to them by the camp administrator that, well, you're not all going to fit on the train. And the loggers were like, well, then we'll make, multiple trips. We got to get out of here. And they were at the point where they were, one, they were talking about going on strike, and two, they all agreed they weren't going to go out of sight of the camp. They were trying to, they had enough unity amongst themselves that they didn't want an individual to be out of sight. And that didn't even stop it from happening. One person was snatched moving from between lumber processing and going to the canteen late one night when he was working overtime. And then it finally moves up to about 2 weeks ago, and then everything just stops. And they don't. The log does state that they attempted to create barriers to try to slow down, whatever it was that was coming in and snatching people. But over the course of like the past 9 months, they've probably lost a good 7 or 8 people.
Is it a nighttime only thing?
No, there was one guy. Him and three other loggers went out to cut down a tree in broad daylight in the middle of the day, and he just vanished. There was no blood. There was no scuffle. He just disappeared.
And there's no photographic evidence, anything like that.
There are some digital pictures, and it's exactly the same kind of work that you saw before. Just blurry photos. Looks like there might be a shadowy something moving through the bushes, but it's all blurred and grainy. Despite the 200 megapixel camera that they had available to them on their mobile phones, It looks like they took the picture with a potato that was smeared with Vaseline.
Got it.
So that's what comes up, and the kid Millard, he kind of is looking over Mel's shoulder and he goes, "See that's that type of shit that I was talking about. They come and take you." Everybody, and then Millard kind of looks up and he goes, "Do you hear that?" Everybody can roll a recon plus intellect check.
Dan.
Nice. So Millard says, "Hold on, do you hear that?" And you kind of all perk up, and the forest has gone silent. And the only thing that you can hear at this point is the sound of the generator and the music coming from the canteen.
Yeah, see, this is the part I didn't like.
Yeah.
Remember, I didn't mind the noises. Forest noises are a good side.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe we should go to the canteen and turn that fucking music off.
Yeah, okay.
Pappy clearly has his weapon at the ready now. Pappy's like, "Oh no, no."
Okay.
I think everybody's got their weapons out right now.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Yep.
So you get into the canteen, and there you find that there's a digital music player that's sitting there on a play. It's got a number of playlists that it'll cycle through, and you shut the music off, and you find that there is a large refrigerator, or a couple of large refrigerated kegs. There's plenty of food that's refrigerated. That a lot of it is questionable, but there's also a lot of sealed meal packs, and of course, over here you have the bunkhouses that have beds in them, and then back here you've got the shower, shit, and shave building.
Ultimately, I don't know that we're going to be able to resolve this problem here.
Well, like I said,
the logical solution is they need to be cutting down trees somewhere that doesn't have these hostile creatures. Because we're not going to kill off whatever it is that's out there.
As you were going over to the canteen,
And a big bomb and fire can't kill.
Pappy, make a recon plus intellect check.
There's some DDT guys.
Whenever Pappy decides to look around, use the force.
Yeah. Pappy, there are a couple of outdoor lights on these bunkhouse buildings. Right here, you see that there is a pretty, like, a much better defined trail that leads off through the foliage to the southeast. And it's much more defined than what Sarda and Mel found around the pushed over trees. It looks like whatever was moving through here was moving quick and wasn't too worried about hiding.
I found us a trail.
But
I found us a real trail.
Like I said, it is about 7 o'clock at night. So
yeah, we should do a sweep of the area real quick, and then figure out where we want to bunk in for the night, and maybe see about doing that.
In my best Vin Diesel, you're not afraid of the dark, are you?
God, I love that movie.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that I have a Cindabella, and at nighttime, at midnight, it all turns to dick. It's a big old belly, and it just all turns to dick at midnight. And I don't know what to do with it. It's one night I woke up and it was like choking me.
Well, we're not bunking together.
Yeah, I am not sleeping near the dolphin.
So which of these buildings seems more defensible? I mean, I know the canteen you said was a prefab, or that generator housing was a prefab.
Yeah.
Does it look more solid, more defensible than the bunkhouses?
To be real honest, the wood buildings seem more defensible or sturdier than the prefabs. And right. I mean, this bunkhouse here, it's bunkhouse. It's going to have fairly comfy beds in it. I mean, maybe not comfy, but better than bedding down on the ground.
Yeah. Well, let's do that.
Okay. So Bocephus, you wanted to kind of do a perimeter check and secure the area. You can make a recon plus intellect check.
7.
So you check around the perimeter. Whoever else wants to walk the perimeter, you can also make a recon plus intellect check.
Yeah, I'll walk the perimeter.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We're all kind of together.
Damn, look at that Ellen startup. So, Bocephus, as you kind of walk around the perimeter, all of these log barriers that set up. Bocephus, you're finding, now that you know what to look for, you're finding a lot more of these shell casings, and you find, a blood-smeared hunting rifle that's just laying there. You find a heavy revolver that is smeared in blood. Pappy, Mel, and Sarda, you find a couple of personal items.
Okay.
Like you find, so Mel, you find a really old pocket watch. I mean, when I say really old, this thing's probably a good, at this point, it's got to be, a good 700 years old? And when you open it, it's got an inscription, to somebody from somebody, and it has an old name on the back of it, or on the face of the watch that says Bulova. Company you've never heard of before.
It's an oldie.
Yeah, it's an oldie from Earth. From Earth
that's
was.
Yeah, that's worth something.
Sarda, you find a what looks like a wedding ring, a men's wedding ring.
All right.
And Pappy, you find a monogrammed flask. It still has whiskey in it.
Tempted to drink it. Gonna drink. Take a sip. Make sure it's good.
Yep. It's well, I wouldn't say good. It's mid shelf.
I just want to make sure it wasn't tainted or anything.
It's like Brokers. It's not Canadian Hunter, but it's like Brokers.
Okay.
Well, you might have to test it again.
Just to be sure.
Right.
Yeah, you never know if you test it right the first time.
So you guys all get into the bunkhouse, and the kid, he kind of comes over and he finds a stool and he sets it next to the front door, and he shuts the door and he locks it, and he's kind of looking out the window and he goes, "I'll take first watch." He goes, "Well, I figure it. We can take 2.5-hour watches each, and that'll give us all a good night's sleep. I'll whoever wants to take the next watch, I'll wake them when 2.5 hours has gone by."
I think we should do longer shifts and maybe double up.
Okay, yeah, you can do that. So, who's going to take the first watch with Millard?
I'll go with the kid.
Okay.
Okay.
So, you stay up with Millard.
You might want to have we might want to have Bocephus do it.
Oh, okay.
There's a chance that he's the monster, right?
Well, that's the rumor about town.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay.
I'll just why can't I just give Millard a stem and he just stay up all night and we all sleep trustingly?
What?
You know? No, I'm joking.
Here, Millard, chew on this Tic Tac for me. Oh, shit. So, Bocephus, you can make a... You can do however you want. Do you want to psychoanalyze this kid, or do you want to psi him?
I'm just gonna stick with the psychoanalyzing.
Okay.
I'm holding on to my sign.
Go ahead and make a psychology plus intellect or education check. I take that back. Psychology plus education check. There is a difference. Okay.
10.
So you stay up for, I guess a hour and a quarter, or no, I guess about 4 hours. So you stay up for about 4 hours with this kid. Nothing happens on your watch, and you talk, you kind of probe him, and you learn that his daddy was a train engineer, and so was his brother, but they were also working. They were train engineers, but obviously this train didn't work all the time, right? And so the rest of their time they were at the camp. And Millard tells you that his father was teaching him to be a railway engineer as well, and had hoped that when he was older that he wouldn't be stuck working in this logging camp. And then this whole thing happened, of course. And Millard tells you, he says, I haven't seen my father or my brother since, and I'm hoping to find them. He goes, well, I'm not expecting, I expect the worst. I'm not expecting them to still be with us. From everything that we've seen, I don't expect them to still be of this earth, but I would like to find them nonetheless and give them a proper burial.
Well, if it makes you feel better, when they die, if they died already, then they're dead, but they're dead. And their body will rot away, become dirt, and they will be.
They'll grow into trees.
Dirt. Yeah. So, that's something.
He's like, he says, "Are you sure you're a doctor? Because I did not find that very comforting at all."
Oh, well, do you know what doctors and plumbers have in common?
What?
They both bury their mistakes.
He goes, yeah, you're a funny one, Doc.
Yeah.
So your shift goes by. Who's taking shift number 2?
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll go
on.
to yeah.
Pappy will be all alone. So leave it to the pilot to be the one all by himself.
Right.
I'll go by myself.
Okay, so Pappy and Mel, you take the next shift. You can both make recon plus intellect checks.
And it's become abundantly clear that I need to dump more points into this. So that's the next thing I'm studying.
Yeah, recon. So recon is like, so if you ever played D&D 3rd edition or 3.5 or Pathfinder, D&D is the or recon is the spot check. Investigate is the search check. So yeah, those those two are.
The thing with Traveler, though, is that
Critical.
there's very few careers that actually give you access to recon and investigate.
It's usually military. Yeah.
Actually, it's more like agent. You know, the police.
Agent, yeah, agent's a good one with for investigate, but also recon. Yeah.
Secret Asian man.
Secret Asian man. Wow.
Yep, that's what I said.
So Pappy and Mel, you swear that you hear something rustling nearby in the bushes, and just as you're about ready to wake everybody up because you think that the fecal matter is about to hit the propeller, then you hear like the sound of a large woodland creature that kind of almost like, and you look out the window and this thing kind of looks like a cross between a boar and a badger, and it's rooting around, and it lets out some kind of little honking roar, and then it notices that it's being watched, and then it takes off bolting into the forest. And that's all that happens on your shift. Sarda, you can make a recon plus intellect check.
Sure. I'd figure.
Yeah, you. The one thing that you do note as the sun is, you can tell the sun is starting to rise because the duskiness has started to return to the forest, and again you notice that the wildlife seems to be waking up. You can hear more birds and whatnot, and woodland creatures in the distance. But you still, like, the hair on the back of your neck is standing up, like you're being watched.
What is that power called? They're one of the clairvoyant abilities.
Yeah.
Let me find it.
It is. Whoops. Let's see. You can sense things at some point in the distance. I don't know if that's useful.
I was thinking the awareness.
Tactical awareness?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and make a tactical awareness check.
Trying to pull this up on rules. Come on. All right, so powers, and I've gotten my point back. A 9 should be a success.
Yes. That's 2 side points. You do pick something up, and it is way off over in this direction. And it is, at first you think it's another one of the stationary ones that you had picked up with life detection. But then it kind of moves, and it kind of moves all the way around the perimeter, but it keeps a distance. And then you see it bound off into the forest. And you hear nothing. Like, it's pure silence.
Hold on here, let me... I might want to do something before it bounds off.
Okay.
Where is telepathy? Oh wait, there we go. I thought there was a way to send emotion.
There is. It is telepathy.
Is it telepathy? Yeah.
So what emotion
So
are you wanting to send?
I want to send it a feeling of safety or calmness.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that counts as an emotion.
Sure.
But yeah. And I've used a skill point previous. I'm down 1.
Well, that one would have been back, so you're only down 2 for...
No, but I'm down with the 1 for the life science. I don't think I succeeded with the 6. Actually, 6 is the diff.
6 is the... So, you send this emotion of calm safety to whatever this thing is.
Yeah.
And not that you really would receive much of a response, but you get the feeling like the idea of any emotion at all is alien to the recipient.
Just freak this thing out. It's like feeling something it's never felt before.
Yeah, it doesn't know what this is.
Got it. Okay.
You're not even certain that it's going to react to it.
Okay, yeah, no problem. I just figured it's worth a shot.
I think this is a good spot to break. We can pick up with you guys waking up from the bunkhouse and possibly following this trail off into the forest to see what's going on.
Sounds great. See you next week.
All right.
Okay.
I will see
Thank
you
you,
guys
sir.
next week. Just a reminder
fun.
to Brian and Wes, we're not playing tomorrow. We're off tomorrow, so Wes will be
Oh, yeah,
gone.
that's right.
He's going to learn the gender of his grandbaby.
Oh, that's awesome. Congrats, man.
Thanks. Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
exciting.
nice.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go to that instead of playing games, which it's.
Well, it's still rolling dice. I mean,
Oh, I hear you. I'm pretty excited. It's pretty cool. So it's
Just-
it's
I
gonna
find
be
your lack of commitment disturbing.
yes, your lack of commitment is disturbing.
49% male, 51% female. That's basic odds.
yeah. Well, we'll see.
Place
But
bets,
yeah,
place bets.
Take care.
I think it's gonna be a girl, but that's just my gut. It
Yeah.
don't mean shit. There's no science there.
Man,
No.
you know. All right, I will see you guys
All right, have
next
a good
week
night,
at
everybody.
6
Thank
o'clock
you.
on Friday.
Take care.
Night.
Have a good one.
Next week.